Hi everybody, today we are going to talk about the content recommendation engine. The project topic is motivating an individual reader of the news app to remain engaged daily by recommending the most relevant content. Quickly on a business problem, the goal for the business would be to decrease the churn of readers. We can do that by boosting the engagement, and we can do that by triggering the interest of users of the app to read the news, and the more often the better. And how do we do that? It's by providing a relevant, personalized content suggestion, what article to read. And a quick note on the solution: that is a recommendation engine that selects the articles that are of high interest to the user based on the history, activity, on the historical activity of the user. There is a fallback. If the recommendation engine didn't work, we can have a fallback, but today we're going to focus on the recommendation engine itself. So our user is a physical person who paid for a subscription for the news app, and the task here would be to identify the content of interest in the shortest amount of time possible. Some users will be new, so for them the whole journey starts with paying for a subscription and answering the calibration questions, and then maybe reading some articles in the app, right? And some readers are already there for a while, so this journey starts from the history of the content that they have read. Next step, the machine learning model defines the recommended articles. The system sends an push notification or an email with the list of recommended articles. The only action the user has to do, and that's why it's the simplest flow for a user, the only action is actually to click on the article of interest if it is actually interesting for the user. Machine learning model will take into account the click rate and also the time that article was read to learn and improve. So our objective here is keeping the user engaged daily. In terms of the transparency of the model, this model is a black box, and there is no or very low user sensitivity of having an explanation of how this particular article that is recommended was selected. In terms of privacy, there is some data we collect, like the user ID, the article reading time, date, time, and therefore we might do some actions. There are some actions that company must take. For example, giving the notice of the privacy policies, giving a user a choice whether they give a consent for this data to be used or not, and in general describing the choices available for the users. And of course, there are some privacy laws and obligations for us. For this particular product, any general data protection law in the country of the user or a country of the company entity will be applicable to us. In terms of ethics, of course, the model can have some bias potentially. It can be a historical bias or a learning bias. But we do expect that the model should be learning on the new feedback, and even though that can create a bias itself, we do expect that the model should be self-improving. As was mentioned before, it is a low-risk product in terms of fairness, any issues in terms of ethics, especially if the user has given their consent to us. We do need to inform the user that there is an algorithm behind the recommendation that is given to the user, and of course ask for a consent. Thank you for listening.